Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual class for today. We're going to take A. Here we go. Here's your D. G. G. C. E. All right, so today's lesson is all about Frozen, and some fun news with this one. The band is also working on this one. The idea between Miss Jensen and I is that if we get to play in a concert together, hope that's likely, I don't know. But in the case that we do, we would play this song together for the assembly that's just around the same time as our concert. Nothing to worry about right now. Let's just focus on what we've got to do for today. And I hope this song will be really fun for you to play and fun for your family to listen to. So let's dive right in. First of all, bass. I wanted to address your issue. Your part says tuba, and that's the reason why is because the tuba is also playing your same part. So it's not a mistake. You are playing that. However, there are some notes that are too low for you. I will address those as those come along. But in any case, if you have a split, take the top notes. And for everybody else, what you should know is that when we combine this together, there are at least two other instruments playing your same part. Okay, so you're playing different parts from each other, but when we combine with the band, they're playing the exact same thing as you are, depending on what instrument. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so first of all, bass, you have a rhythm here that you're going to need to know for lots of your rhythms to come. Here's 43, 1 E and a 2, and 3 E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. Okay, that is the rhythm that continues on for a couple of measures. All right, and then going on to measure 46, bass, you have this rhythm. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. So the last three notes you just need to think and 4 and. From the beginning again, making sure you've got it straight. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's another way to think about it. Okay, so in measure 47, notice how you go back to the original rhythm. Alrighty. Now, skip ahead a little bit, bass. We've got a few variations to that rhythm. Notice how in measure 49, you're starting to connect the notes to your original groove. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and, okay? It should be ba, 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 ba. I don't have the notes in my head right now, but that's the way it goes. And then last but not least, measure 50. You should know this rhythm. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's just like that other one, the second rhythm that we learned. However, this one, of course, is held out. Okay? And that's one part where you want to take the top part of the split. All right, I'm going to move back now to everyone else. Mostly everyone else. Let's start with second violins since you start the melody here at the pickup to 43. It's pretty awesome. Okay, now on paper this looks really difficult, but I bet you're going to be able to figure this out because it's from Frozen and you should have heard this a dozen times since your childhood. Okay, those are the first couple of measures of 43. So I'm not going to get into the technicalities of how to count this, but let's break it up into parts. Here's the first part. When we start, it's a pickup, and it's the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Tie, right? Then we go short, long, and then we do the next G, and then right here, right, easy peasy. All right, here it is in half speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so forth. Okay? All right. First violins, you get the next part of the melody. You kind of steal it away from the seconds. Isn't that always your life, huh? At 45. All right, check this out. Let's see. It's an A, G, A. For that one, fingering wise, you know how you have those eighth notes, da 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 da. You're gonna just do. You're gonna do next door neighbor 2 2, right? And then 3. Leave the 2 so that you can come back to it. 2 2 3 2, then 3. Okay. Now let's talk again about rhythm. One E and a 2. Or 1 E and I'm not even gonna count. It just slows things down. Ba 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 ba. Okay, here it is at half speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There you are. Okay. All right. Now, there's a part here that I may have covered before for the bass. However, the rest of you need to hear this. At measure 46 seconds, you have this rhythm. Violas, you have this rhythm. Cellos, you have this rhythm. Bass, we've already covered this measure. You have a slight variation to this rhythm. You have one more note than everyone else does, but it should fit in nicely to this rhythm. This rhythm, everybody, is 1 E and or 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? We're going to re-loop that measure a couple of times. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. Again, 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. It's very important here that you make that 4 land right on. Of course, every rhythm is important, but if you get this down, I'm pretty sure you guys won't have any problems. Here's what it sounds like on the second violin part. And there you have it. Okay. I'm not going to talk about measure 47 because it's the same pretty much rhythm as what we've talked about before. Second violins, you can go back and see what I talked about with the first violins for their first part. Ba 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 da 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 da. Okay. But I will talk about first violins. Here is measure 49. Make sure that you don't have, you hear how it's different, the first half. It goes da 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 a little bit faster, but then it's even temperament at the end. Okay, don't change those. That's what you're going to want to do. That's not correct. Dun, 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 dun. And hopefully you recognize that it adds a little bit more emphasis when they space out those rhythms. Da, 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 da. And then that brings us into the melody. Let's jump into the rhythm that second violins, violas have, and cellos have at measure 50. Okay? Aren't you glad that we did Brave? Because this is the same rhythm that the people who did the groove had for Brave, okay? It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you're going to see that a couple more times, but notice how we switch between rhythms. I looped that same measure again and again. Okay, so here's what it sounds like on the second violin part. Easy peasy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And this is kind of a simple rhythm. Alright, so violas, you have a slightly different variation to that, where you're going to come in on that half note at beat 3. I would very much recommend writing in the counts for this one. Alright, but to give you an example, it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there you go. Alright, so let's take a look at that rhythm for bass at measure 50. Everyone else, this is measure 71, or you may have it, maybe first don't have it, but this is what it is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, again, ready, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's a little bit variation from the groove that we've been doing. Practice that one, clap it, shadow bow it, okay? Alright, let's talk about the rhythms now. For the first violins, pick up to measure 51. Notice how it starts on the upbeat on the and of 4. So we're going to start right here on this A at the beginning of that measure, pick up to measure 51, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 1 and oops, 1 E and 3 and then we move on. Okay, that's that bit right there. I would highly recommend working with your bow on the measures right at 55. Okay, you can probably figure out the notes right here. I'm going to just play it for you. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, 1 and 3, or 1, 1, 2 and 4 and 1, 2 and 4 and. Okay, let's go back now, and I wanted to just note to the cellos, and not to the cellos, to the violas, how you have a long connected tie there at measure 55. All right, you have that C natural, 3, 4, and then you go on 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, rewind that to shadow bow with me. All right, moving right along. Second violin. Notice how you have that nice little rhythm that we talked about before that Brave prepared you for at measure 61. Also, violas, you have that 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Basses, this is one that I need to talk to you specifically about. Measure 62. Notice how you have some notes that are too low for you. So what you're going to do is just play those an octave up. Take some time to write those in. They should look like this line right here when you're done. Okay, that'll play the same notes that you need to do here. However, I guess the arranger didn't quite know what a bass player could play. Speaking about notes and fingerings, cellos, skip with me now. Hey, I didn't forget you guys. To pick up to measure 70, notice how you go from a D flat to a D. How on earth do you play that? Well, remember, a D flat is the same thing as a C sharp. So play it with a 3 and then a 4. Okay, 3 for that D flat, 4 for the D natural. Okay? All right, guys. You should have seen the part about measure 71. And just remember at measure 72 that you play that tie up until beat 3 and then just cut off on the end of beat 3, and then we should be good to go. Hey, I hope you had fun playing this. I hope you will have fun practicing it. It's kind of appropriate, right? Because we're looking forward to that first time in forever that the doors won't be closed and we can be out and about. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye.